Hi everyone, this is a video on the story titled Toba Tek Singh, written by Sadaat Hassan Monto. Sadaat Hassan Monto was an Indo-Pakistani author, journalist, and screenwriter born in Ludhiana district of undivided Punjab. He lived between 1912 and 1955. He began his literary career translating Victor Hugo's The Last Day of Condemned Man. Manto started writing short stories during his graduation at Aligarh Muslim University. He also published four collections of radio plays while working in All India Radio. Manto wrote screenplays for films like Shikari and Mirza Ghalib. In the year 1948, his family left for Pakistan as a result of partition. The pain of partition was a theme of many of his stories. He believed that a writer should not hide social realities just to please the community and was charged several times for obscenity. He died of alcoholism and depression in the year 1955. His collection of short stories are as follows: Toba Tek Singh, Cold Meat, Bombay Stories, Open It, The Black Garment, Black Milk, and Mottled Dawn. This story, Toba Tek Singh, is a dark comedy set in the years after partition. The story takes place in a lunatic asylum in Lahore, Pakistan. 2 or 3 years after the partition, the government of Pakistan and India decided to exchange the inmates of lunatic asylums between India and Pakistan. And in the story, it revolves around the dilemma as well as the confusion that Bishan Singh, the chief protagonist of the story, faced when this transfer was taking place. Bishan Singh is the chief protagonist of the story who wanted to go to Toba Tek Singh, his village. All Hindus, Sikhs, and Anglo Indians in the asylum were to be sent to India. Pakistan had no one from these communities. The story begins with the exchange of lunatics and in a flashback tells about the confusion in the asylum and ends at the border again with a description of the exchange of lunatics. This is a satirical short story on the madness called communalism, which culminated itself in the partition of India into two separate nations, India and Pakistan, in the year 1947. The story was published in 1955 in Urdu and was translated into English by Tahira Naqvi. There is a story behind the title. Toba Tek Singh is a city and capital of Toba Tek Singh district in the Pakistani province of Punjab. This is a map of Punjab in Pakistan. See, this is where Toba Tek Singh is. It was named after a Sikh religious figure, Tek Singh, and legend has it that he was a kind-hearted man and served water and provided shelter to the worn-out and thirsty travelers passing by a small pond. In Punjabi language, Toba means pond. The pond eventually was called Toba Tek Singh, and the surrounding settlements acquired the same name. The lunatics in the lunatic asylum have no idea about the new country called Pakistan. They only knew Hindustan. The episodes in the asylum reveal the varied kinds of confusions they faced at the time of these discussions of transfer of the inmates. There are a few criminals who are in fact in perfect mental health as well in the asylum who escaped punishment claiming to be mad. But even they have no idea how the partition was done and where the borders are. The lunatics do not understand how they could remain in the same asylum and be in a new country all on a sudden. So the writer in this story depicts their confusions through all sorts of funny developments. For instance, a Muslim lunatic who reads Zamindar. Zamindar is an Urdu newspaper. For 12 years, he has been reading it, and he thinks that Pakistan is a place in India known for manufacturing razors. Likewise, two Sikhs are worried about being deported to Hindustan because of the language there is strange, and one comments, "These bloody Indians, the way they strut about." See, there are also other characters like a Muslim man who climbs on a tree because he wants to live neither in Pakistan nor in India. And there is also another Muslim engineer who runs naked. Now, the fat Muslim named Muhammad Ali proclaimed that he was Qaide Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and following his example, a Sikh called himself as Master Tara Singh. And they started to fight each other and had to be confined in separate quarters. So all this happened in the wake of this partition. There is a lawyer as well who curses the leaders because the girl who rejected his love once is now in India. But he wants to remain in Lahore because his practice as a lawyer will not thrive in India. Besides, in the European ward were the Anglo-Indian lunatics, they were already worried that the British have given freedom to India and left. And they were concerned about two things. One, their privilege of getting the European ward for them, as well as they used to get the English breakfast every day instead of the Indian food. So they were doubtful that about these two privileges. Then apart from these different characters, the chief protagonist of the story was Bishan Singh. He was a Sikh who had been admitted into the asylum 15 years ago. He was a very strange person who never slept. According to the guards, he hadn't slept a wink in 15 years. Occasionally, however, he would rest by propping himself against a wall. His feet and ankles had become swollen from standing all the time. But in spite of these physical problems, he refused to lie down and rest. And when all these discussions of the transfer of inmates were going on, this person, with great seriousness, listened to all these discussions, but made only a mysterious gibberish. That was his only response. He used to say, Upar di, Gurgur di, annex di, Bhai Dhaniya, Dimang Dal di of the Pakistan government. This he used to speak out quite often. Now Bishan Singh is called Toba Tek Singh in the lunatic asylum. He had owned considerable land in Toba Tek Singh and had suddenly gone mad. He used to get visitors once every month till all these disturbances began. And on the day of the visit of his relatives, he was very much excited, and he took bath, and he oiled his hair. He combed it well, and he put on the best clothes available to him, and all these things he did to welcome them. But when his relatives talked to him many things, he spoke nothing except the gibberish to them. Upardi Gurgurdi. And he missed his relatives when they didn't visit him. Now, Bishan Singh wanted to know where Toba Tek Singh was, in India or in Pakistan. He inquired with many people, and no one knew where Toba Tek Singh was. He asked the lunatic who believed that he was a god. That was a character in the story who believed himself as a god. So Bishan Singh asked him. He said he had other things to be taken care of. Then once a friend of him, that whose name was Fasal Din, visited Bishan Singh, and Fasal Din said that his family had left for Hindustan. His daughter Roop Kaur too. He was taking care of the cattle they had left behind. And his friend knew that he was being taken to Hindustan. But he too had no idea where Toba Tek Singh was. And then on the day of the transfer of the inmates, it was an extremely cold day at the Wagah border, and lorries filled with Hindu and Sikh lunatics left the asylum in Lahore, accompanied by the police and some higher officials. Majority of the lunatics were not in favor of this exchange because they couldn't understand why they were being uprooted from their place. Those who could understand raised slogans for and against Hindustan and Pakistan and created fight. When later, when Bishan Singh's turn of transfer came, he asked the officials, "Where is Toba Tek Singh? In Pakistan or in Hindustan?" The accompanying officer laughed. "In Pakistan," he said. Hearing this, he ran to the other side. The guards tried to convince him, but he refused to move from where he stood at the border. And since he was a harmless man, the officials permitted him to stand there. And when all the process of the transfer of inmates was taking place, he was standing there on the border in between India and Pakistan. In the pre-dawn peace and quiet, Bishan Singh's throat, from Bishan Singh's throat, there came a shriek that pierced the sky. From here and there, a number of officers came running to know what was happening. And they saw that the man who for 15 years, day and night, had constantly stayed on his feet, lay prostrate. Bishan Singh was dead. There, behind barbed wire, was Pakistan, was Hindustan. Here, behind the same kind of wire, was Pakistan. In between, on that piece of ground that had no name, lay Toba Tek Singh. This is what the story is all about, and it's a very disturbing story that tells us of the experiences of the people during the time of partition of India and Pakistan. And Manto, as a writer, had his epitaph as this. Here lies Sadaat Hassan Mando, and with him lie buried all secrets and mysteries of the art of short story writing. Under tons of earth, he lies, still wondering who among the two is the greatest short story writer, God or he. Thank you for watching and listening.